Okay, welcome to Change the Narrative. This is episode 23rd, the best one so far, I guess. Got a special guest today. Now, this youth, man, grew up with this kid since we were, man, league high, playing basketball on the bucket covers, on concrete floor with no shoes on. You know what I mean? We won championships together. We built. Man, it goes on and on from foundation, man. It's one of my homeboys from back home from day one. He resides now in Brooklyn, New York. One of the hottest dancehall artists out of Belize. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it up for my man, Myhrakle. Yo, what up, Myhrakle?
What up, Myhrakle?
Greetings. I'm grateful and honorably pleased to be a part of this moment to change the narrative. Yes, with thanks. I want to introduce myself. Clearly, words are very important, and as we grow, we must know how to use them because they can be very detrimental as well. Initially, yes, I did start it as a dancehall artist. However, the focus of the music is to deliver the message most effectively through reggae music or culture music. So currently, the focus of the music is reggae culture music or message music. In whatever form, still, dancehall rhythms or even rap rhythms. We will fill the gap where it's needed to bring the message. Yeah.
Right on, bro. Right on. So let's get back to the foundation, man. Let's go back to where it all started, Kim. So, what you got for him?
Well, for us who don't know you, we just want to know a little bit about you. I know that you played ball with Lamb. So why don't you tell us maybe just a little bit about your foundation? Like, where in Belize are you from? How did you get your start as a basketball player? And then we can gradually move on to how, you got to where you are now.
Yes. Belize City. Originate.
Okay. South side of Belize.
I know the whole thing already. Did a lot of tournaments together. Lam know the whole deal when it comes to that. I went to a school, an institution called Grace Primary School. So for those who may not know, that was my primary institution for education.
That's
then
right.
Went on to Wesley College, where Lam and I then became teammates.
Yes, sir.
In an institution, because we were also teammates at a younger level with us. With Polo Lightburn team called Future Shack. So it's been a long road where basketball is concerned. Yes, I must testify to that.
So my thing is this, man, again, because the people that really knows you, bro, all right? I mean, I'm talking about the people from the 90s and so on and so forth who really know who you are. They remember you as the point guard who carved up everybody in the championship and as the basketball player. So what made you even get into basketball, man? I mean, how you picked that up?
Some things are just inherited through the bloodline,
Natural talent.
Exactly. So I've been around some of the greatest that have or may have not had the opportunity to become internationally known.
Right.
In Belize, I can say, we had countless, ones amongst our community that
right.
I can guarantee had better skills than Michael Jordan.
Word.
And I also even though he was a great rival of Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas. I've seen, this type of level of talent and skill right amongst our community, which influenced I as a youth, as a child, growing up, so, it's a wonderful thing to know that you're born in that nest or you grew in that nest, It's a treasure. Yeah.
Right. So my thing is this, bro, because the last time I saw you, man, was probably 1997, 98, bro. And you were a killer, man. So I would like to know, man, what was one of the most difficult times you had? I mean, in regards to just sports, like what was the most challenging things that you find yourself coming out of where we came from? Because I mean, what a lot of people don't understand, man, is where we really came from. You know what I'm saying? How it was and all the influence. We lost a lot of our friends to the streets and so on and so forth. So a kid like in Belize will probably look at you and want to know how the hell you make it out of that. So what would you say is the thing that got you to move towards this direction, man?
Well, speaking towards the direction of where I'm at now and where I was going at that time, it's an interlink that requires a long dialogue, but I'm gonna try to make it short as much as I can. Staying focused while going through, all the calamities that faces us in a country such as Belize. Like we all know it, we especially like Lam said earlier, Clinton Fuller said earlier, South Side. So when you talk about South Side, you're talking about a lot of hardship. They have it's called Mesopotamia. If we break down the etymology of that and go deeper into that, we can see that it's a thing that, or a place where one's come from that faces a lot of tribulations. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to stay focused on the journey if you don't have a firm meditation or a desire to reach where you want to go. So it was very important for us to make up our mind, even though we're influenced by all the negativity, to stay focused. And I'm grateful to know that I was a child who grew up in a household with a grandmother, mother, and all the other influence of the rest of parents, also influence of my father, even though far, to have discipline, and treasure the rudiments, treasure the principles, which we call the principles, and move further, focusing, And today it emerged, comes to this, it grew to this, staying focused even in the music.
Yeah, I mean, for me, man, like I always, trip out and look, think about how it was back then for us. Like for me personally, I had a conversation with one of my close friends, that grew up with us as well, and we just sit down, we talked about how many of our friends we lost. And I got up to 100 of my best friends that died, man, and plus. When it got to 100, I stopped counting. You know what I'm saying? And one of the most hurtful things for me was to see one of our guys that grew up with us, man, Cleveland Mayor, you know what I'm saying? He's one of our, foundation kid, man, and like he was supposed to be here with us, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure out if if you can say like, where did he went sideways and we went the other way? Because we came out the same situation, bro. And I'm trying to understand like what happened with that.
Well, we can examine a situation of such for a number or a large body of ones who experienced that. However, we can also speak directly when it comes to who is immediately, in our communities, especially a close friend as such. But on a general scale, I like to speak and not to pinpoint an individual. I think we have leaders, which we all know, that have the ability to create more facilities and more institutions of, not correctional institutions, but institutions of betterment now. So when we look at such situation of an individual ending up in we got to start from the root, and it's not gonna be explained just for one, but for a large number. even though it might affect us closely. I myself, I didn't really specify this, and I don't choose to specify these things on international media, but at someday, we have to unveil what needs to be unveiled. I myself was, faced with many situations where, not to say drugs, but to say the influence of situation which would draw you or pull you towards having the eager or the ego as well to take someone's life because someone trying to take your life. So within the bracket of self-defense. So it's a lot of things that affect us as we go along that can detour us. But
Right.
luckily, some of us may be able to get the opportunity to come abroad and see, a different perspective and see, where we can become more. Unfortunately, this is not the situation for those who do not get out, but we try our best to influence those who still are in and try our best to influence those who come also not to go in the wrong road. But it's heavily dependent upon our communities and sufferation. I'm gonna tell you that, because if a man, and mostly on a not to hold this conversation too long, but on a percentage scale, if a man grows up in a household where he has mostly everything he needs and can go to school and maintain his education and have the right influence and have the right financial backing. And this heavily also depends on what part of the country you live in. Sometimes in the Leeds, that you will have this ability to maintain control over your children and all these things such that they can become the best. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the minority is always the majority. And we face these situations heavily in the poverty regions.
Yes. So, man, let's get to the music now, man. Like, I knew growing up, you know what I'm saying, you love Buju, you love your reggae, your conscious music from way back when. Now, I'm gonna be straight to it, man. I did not know you had the ability to make or produce music, and B, at this rate. So how did you got to this point, man? That's the question that I want to know.
I don't want to be verbose about it, but I will be real.
This is your moment to be verbose.
From a little child, I was given a name Myhrakle.
Jano.
I was given that name. I did not make that name up for myself. I had an accident at the age of 5. Lam, you might not even know this, even though we're so close.
Yeah.
That ripped open my whole skull. And I was in coma for a long period of time, not to express too much of that. The doctors and everyone thought I wouldn't make it. When I revived after a few months of coma, the first word that came out of my mother's mouth and her sister or cousin at the same, I was young, I can't remember the full details, at the same time was, "It's a miracle." and my father himself was a musician, which you may have not known again.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
All these things are embedded root and determination to fulfill my mission upon the earth as God grant me life.
Man, so I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of things that it's a new revelation to many, even though they know me so long.
Right. like I
So,
said, last thing, listen, man. Last time I was around with this dude, man, he was into Buju heavy back then. You know, Buju and Capleton. That's what I remember. So I didn't see you doing what you're doing and making, like you told me today. This man made 6 albums in about 5 months. I've never heard that in my life, man. I've never heard. So what you mean that you made 6 albums in 5 months? Like how many songs you have per album, and what kind of dedication would you say needs to be done in order to get something like that? Because that's a lot of music.
Well, the first thing is a lification, which is an embedment in the heart, is a thing that is in the heart. You know, it's a thing that is a driven desire to propel the message. You see, when you have bathed yourself in a lot of information that is valuable and treasurable to the time we're living in now, and you have the ability, like I said, from birth, my father grant me through blood lineage the ability to propel my vocal tones. You know, when you have these things at your hand, you have a responsibility.
That's
so
right.
You have an immediate responsibility. You are ordained to do a work. So you have to fulfill this. So it just comes, and as it is, some of the work I marvel at my own self, because I can only say that it's the Almighty God doing this work. This is not
Right.
about Myhrakle, and this is not Myhrakle on his own self-ego doing this thing. This thing is a propel intuition established by the Most High, which I'm proud to say. I speak with him every day. He's with me every day. So with this devotion, or with this devotion, I commence his work every day. There's a difference between a work upon the earth and a job.
That's
In
right.
the book of Job, if you take a chance and go visit Job, you will see what Job said. But also in the book of Genesis, it also shows you and establish what the work is upon it. I established the work upon the land to develop the land, to bring more fructification to the land through the word sown. So I must propel in that direction. I must also add to it too, proudly, but not with pride, but proudly, I must say. I also have 56 singles also in that same period of time. So I am doing the work that I'm supposed to do on the land.
and what is the message that you want the people, your fans, the people who listen to your music, to get from it? What is your message that you're trying to get out to the world?
Very important question. I like that interjection. The important thing is communion. When I say communion, I want to establish that in the minds of ones on a broad spectrum. Love, unity, love governs all these things. Unity, strength, togetherness, which is unity. Sharing, caring, and also the compassion for what is missing right now. Right now, what is majorly missing is the interconnection of ones, where honesty, true, respect, and all these things are governed. But more, there's a drive for flesh and material world. And these things will come to naught if the flesh does not propel within a steady mind. Then all these things come to naught. So we have to treasure our neighbors. We have to treasure our community. We have to treasure our surroundings. And we have to try to eliminate the grasp and the greed for the material world. It is there, and it will not stop being there. But we have to treasure what is most important.
So my thing is this, man, because I know a lot of kids will is watching you, and they would like to know, like, what advice can you give a youngster who came out of our situation? What path would you tell them to tread? How to navigate to get to where you at, to be able to, give out this message through music? I mean, what path should a kid try, man?
Yeah, it's very challenging for many of the youths them, and if we're speaking generally about the youths, we got to just speak on a worldwide spectrum. But there are challenges that others face that some may not face, and they may need more counseling as well. So the few words that I may be able to propel here right now may not be enough, but it will be enough for all. Youths need to focus more on the earth. At this current moment, the gadgets that are shooting past like shooting stars and flashing past so fast and getting updated before you know you can even purchase a new one. It's immense and it's dangerous. Now, in the book of Genesis, again, I'll go back to this book because this book reveals a lot of things that happens throughout the time and then comes again in Revelation because the lack of the knowledge of such. The earth is exalted. The earth and its creation is exalted. And when I say exalted, I mean it's highlighted in the book of Genesis. And we are drifting further away from natural resources. We are drifting further away from, the things them that builds the chi, builds the child. You see, we use the word kid and we don't even check the word properly. But the word kid comes from the word goat. It's a derivative. So we don't have chattels, we have children. We don't have chattel, we have children. So we have to enhance the chi by keeping them connected to the earth and pull them away from these gadgets. Too much smart devices and the children are not getting their intelligence. The device is much more smarter than the child. Wisdom is needed, and this starts from parenthood. So it is important what you ask. It is necessary for me to speak such to the children, but this is more important for the parent. The parent in the homes need to figure it out now. This is a time they say, isolate yourself, go inside yourself. His Majesty is Haile Emperor Haile Selassie. I say, go in your houses, go in your storehouses, go in your vineyards and go in the greenhouses, your stock houses, and prepare for the time. So this is a time right now we have to self-examine our surrounding and how we will go further future. Right now, I've heard someone call me and give me a message, say, I get a chance to clean up this and clean up that. Things where they're walking past for years. You see, so it's a time right now where we as parents has the obligated duty to go into our frequency and go back into, if we want to say back, I used to say forward because everything is a revolution. It's supposed to be in everything have cycle. Water cycle, air cycle, food cycle. It's a cycle. It's not linear. Right? So we need to go forward into these things. Herbs heal. We have a situation today that is affecting us drastically on a mass scale, coronavirus, which is another tactic. And I'm not going to go into that because that's not the avenue. But these things, simple things like such, requires the earth, which heals. If we do not have proper health to go forward, how can we attain any riches? How can we attain any material wealth? It's vain and it's a loss. So we must focus on the earth. We must enhance the earth. We must teach the youths them to soil, to till. We must teach the youth them to stay connected with the family rather than the gadgets. I myself face these things with some of my children. I have 9.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
this is the thing at hand.
Right. What you got, Kim?
Well, I wanted to know, Urkel, for the people again who would like to hear more of your music and your message, how can we get your music? I mean, have you dropped, I know you said you have like 6 albums that you've created. Have you dropped them? Like, are they available? Where can people find your music and hear your message?
These albums that we speak about are currently in the production mode. They are already recorded, but they are not out there yet. There are more. The other available music out there is also immense. I have music on Spotify.
Okay.
I have music on iTunes. I have music on Amazon. I have music on Reverb Nation. My website currently is going under reconstruction, so you will not be able to get me at the website www.jamyhrakle.com. That's JAHMYHRAKLE. I gotta spell that for the people too worldwide because
yes, please. Are you on Instagram, Facebook, where people can also get your information there?
JAHMYHRAKLE.
Okay.
Say it again. Say it again.
All right.
Yeah, say that again, Buck.
What did you say?
Say that again. Say the website again, or the way where they can reach you.
Well, yeah, you can reach me on Spotify. You can reach me on iTunes. You can reach me mainly. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. But the links that you can readily get the music full time: Spotify, Drizzle, Amazon, all international platforms, I must say. The website, like I say, is not up. I don't want to mislead anyone. It is under reconstruction. I was just trying to specify the spelling of the name. When you go look for me, it's JAHMYHRAKLE.
Got it.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. Well, you got anything else, Kim? Or how you feel?
Man, I've learned a lot. And I really hope that our viewers appreciate as well artists that we have, because we don't have a lot of Belizean artists who are out there, trying to spread a message, of love and togetherness that Myhrakle is doing. And so I'm happy that we got an opportunity to put you on our podcast today and let Belize know that, this is a kid from Southside Belize who's doing their thing in Brooklyn, New York. And that's huge, and we got to do more of that and show love to our own,
Yeah, I mean, for me also, man, I want you to, if you if someone want to book you for a show or whatever, like, what's the information like? How they can reach you? Just the same socials, or you got phone numbers where they can reach out?
Social media, you could inbox me. Either on Facebook, you can inbox me. Instagram, I also have my email address over there on Instagram.
Okay.
You can email me there. Yeah, this is life. I love this thing, and this is what it's all about. I want to focus this message on the people here. This is not about Myhrakle. It's about the word, because it's very easy to take or get misled.
Right.
By dealing with image. We want you to fixate your minds on the message and the word. Not to say the image will mislead you, but we want you all to listen to the message. This is not an artist that goes on stage and jump around just to get people attention and swinging them over the place. Even if I move vigorously on stage, there's a powerful message behind it, which is the word. And that's what we want the people to get, the word.
Myhrakle, have you ever performed in Belize? Is that something that is on your agenda?
Well, most naturally, it's on my agenda. And when the time comes...
Wait, hold up, time out. You telling me you haven't performed back at the crib yet, man?
Well, cribs are for Crims are for babies.
Come on, man. I'm shocked, man.
Crims are for babies, but I will be there in due time, as the Almighty God willing.
All right, man. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully, man.
Like I said, I have a whole heap of children on this side. Nine is the count. So
9. Wow.
we have a lot of responsibility immediately at hand. You know,
Right.
my youngest child is about 10 months.
Oh man.
Okay.
But the message got to flow, man. The people want to hear the message, man.
Huh?
The people want to hear the message back home, man. I mean,
They're getting it back home too. I have the message there. Like I said, it's the word. It's not about Myhrakle. So the word is there. The message is there.
All right. All right.
Well, Myhrakle, man, it's been great, bro. It's been, you know what I mean? I can't tell you, you know what I mean, how much I appreciate what you did, man, and how far you came. Like I said, man, it's always proud to see somebody they grew up with from the root turn out to be somebody successful like yourself, and you're staying grounded, you're staying focused, man, and you're making a difference one day at a time. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you, man, for what you've been doing, man. Straight up.
That's right. Continue, man.
I give thanks for the opportunity to be on Create the Narrative for the moment, and this exact moment, which is what, the 23rd episode. That number is very powerful. I want to break down a science for you numerologically.
Cool.
2 and 3 is the chromosomes that is inside the DNA bank that either determines you being X or Y.
Correct.
These numbers line up very properly. I'm grateful for the moment. And I want to say one more thing. It's about progress and not about success.
That's right.
Success is an individualistic thing. When a man reaches his success, he have what he needs to have. But the nation still is suffering. So it's not about success, it's about progress. And progress requires the work efforts of a nation. So I don't go for success. I don't go for petty ambitions. I don't go for small things. I go for what value to the masses. And that's what it's all about. Progress.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hi, man. Yeah, man. Well, man, blessed, man. I know what I'm saying. Hopefully we can do this again, bro.
Yeah, man. In due time.
In due time. All right, man.
Take care, man.
Blessed.
Peace.
Have a blessed night.
All right.
All right. Good night.
All right.